This is the Simpit, I'm Michi Hoyer, and this is the iRacing Formula 1 car, the McLaren Honda MP4-30 at Circuit of the Americas. And you guys already know that we had some testing earlier on in the week with Robert, our engineer. So people were mourning a bit about me not having our classic ACR suck speed livery. So I quickly want to show it to you guys. Here it is. This is my personal livery with my name being on the rear wing, my national flag being on the side pods. So that is the Formula 1 car we will race in here on iRacing. And I really have to say I do love those liveries. Those iconic stripes we have on the car are looking so great to me. So hats off to Marcello Mandaggi, Formula 1 or open wheeler car racer here on iRacing, who has invented those stripes. Very massive hats off for him getting those stripes on the car. But this is enough from off-site footage, so we go back to work, testing the car. I've put out the original setup we just did, and I want to have a run on my personal best lap time I just did. That was a 1:43.1 in the other session. So I'm now trying to simply replicate that lap before I go on myself with setup work. Usually Robert would be here now, but unfortunately Robert is occupied with university stuff, so I'm a bit on my own. But for the basic changes, that is or should not be an issue at all. I will definitely do some try and error today, test some things according to ride height and other things as well, just to get a little more used to this car. Thank you very much, Broken Sticks. That means a lot to us, it means a lot to our Formula team on iRacing. Literally all the cars we actually race will have some sort of that iconic paint, so you guys will be able to recognize our car literally everywhere we go. So just as Robert said to me, I should do more testing in the car to feel confident on it, to do more setup testing, more setup work with him then. So this is exactly what we're going to do. We learn more on the car. I learned a very fair lot in the first session we did. So this is the reason why we now should see immediate progress. Hey Pfeffer, I'm wearing gloves because my hands get really wet after some time, and even on the G29 the wheel becomes extremely slippery then, and I want to have full control on the wheel, on the buttons. So that is why I do raise a pair of field gloves. Oh! Don't hit that curb too hard there, it could cause your suspension damage and stuff. Yes, Paul, in other words, this is exactly for grip. Hey Wolfgang, hey Albuquo, hey William, hey everyone here on the stream, and thank you very much Pit Crew for joining on today's stream here. There's more to come of Sean Cole tonight, but for now you have to deal with me a little bit. As you can see, we gained up a lot of confidence on this Formula 1 car overnight, so to say. Because what is I better break up this lap or abort it because of running wide. What you underestimate is the learning effect by doing nothing. And by doing nothing I mean you race the car over and over and over. and at some point on that particular day you won't improve further because you're still exhausted, and then you go to bed and you some sort of learn overnight because your mind is working on things you have witnessed all day long, and in your mind there goes deeper processes I cannot even explain, but those are those processes. They will make you learn, and as soon as you come back to the car you suddenly improve. Just because you're in the mind has somewhat done some work in the background of your activity. So as you can see, we're on our way to improve. Bit too much brake bias in the rear to me. Turn 18, too much on the steering a bit. Don't go wide, that looks good. Come around final corner to complete the lap in a 1:42, I think. There you go, 1:42.9, so that is a personal best that is in that car configuration. The best I ever did, and this is exactly what I mean. I was struggling to get in a low 43 on the other session on the other day. And right now, within 2 or 3 laps, I've just literally got my target done. So what we're gonna do now is work a little bit on the set. What I said to you is that I felt the car balance or the brake bias a little bit too much to the back. With that being said, the base brake bias is 55.0. And obviously you have the MGUK working on the rear end, but still I feel it a little better if I have a little bit more braking on the front. That would mean that the rear end won't spin around on me as soon as it comes to that turn 16. There was that little left kink before the long right-hander turn 18, so that should be fixed now. Furthermore, I found the rear end to be a little bit irresponsive, so as soon as you go off the throttle, the rear end becomes loose, which means that the weight goes too quickly to the front. For that reason, I will stiffen the low-speed rear-bound dumping. By doing so, I will keep the not on the heave, but on the left rear and the right here. By doing so, I will make the spring be a little bit more reluctant to give the weight away. That means as soon as I go off the throttle, the car wants to go up in the rear end, all the weight moves forward, and this process should be a little bit slower. On the other hand, I also stiffen up the low speed dumping at the front, which means that the weight that is coming towards the front will be transferred a little bit less speedy or a little bit less fast on the front end. This should give me a lot of stability, and with those minor changes I should already be able to get in a little faster in the next 1 or 2 laps. And if you have any questions in between, just feel free to ask them. Sure Gamer, thank you very much for your feedback. So I think you guys know what I was talking about when I say sleeping one night over the other and you suddenly learn some stuff. It's not like that you actually learn something, but you learn so much on that day one that your brain and your body is not able to access it right in that specific moment when you've learned it. So what you need to do is regenerate some energy overnight, and your mind will keep in mind what you have learned on that day one, and as soon as you come back fresh to the car, as soon as you settled yourself in on the car again, your mind is actually able to access the knowledge you've just got out on the testing day one. For those of you, you may remember I was trying to desperately get in 38 in qualifying trim. To be totally honest with you, I just did a 40.1 and the optimal was like a 39.4. And I'm pretty sure at the end of this session we should be able to get into the into the high 38s. Weather is the same, I made that sure. So we start our next flying lap. Thank you very much, Justin, on your feedback. Yeah, you definitely feel the brake bias to be moved to the front. That was a little lock up into turn 1. I hope the car balance to be improved around here, which seems the case to me. That is the reason why I'm slightly gaining on the time there. Not because actually being faster, it's just having more confidence into the car and its behavior. So 2.5 tenths to gain. Some whoops. Alright, I had this issue yesterday already, or the day before yesterday, when we already had that run going on. And for this reason, it's just a very fast bump. That's why I go on the bumpers, and to me it's definitely the rear end that keeps bottoming out there. And this means the dump shall be... Let me see. Need to do this right now. The dump needs to be a little stiffer, so that you do not actually drop down. Oh, sorry, not that one. It's the fast one that needs to be stiffened. Is it high speed compression dumping? That needs to be stiffened, so when you drop down, the suspension does not being compressed immediately, just a little slower, or maybe even not entirely. That will also mean like remove packers, but I do not. Are there any packers? I think there aren't. In general, I could also increase the spring rate at the rear end. Is there a possibility for spring rate? Heave rate, that is not what I'm looking for. Let me see if that is it. Instead of coil springs, the car uses torsion bar. Stiffer torsion bar controls the chassis attitude better. Less roll or pitch change, which is good for aerodynamics and camber control, but mechanical grip is often better with softer springs. Oh, there you go. That is the the spring setting. I need to readjust that offset though. There we go. So right now I've stiffened up the rear end, which, as explained, now the car has less ability to roll in the rear end, which therefore increases the stability of the rear end aerodynamics. That means that the diffuser should work a little bit better right now. And the setting feels very nice here. So the rear end felt like just being a bit too sluggish for me anyway. So with a bit stiffer spring in the rear end, the car is not rolling so much and so badly anymore. The diffuser is giving constant, or has constant airflow. That little bump where we just spun off feels now a lot lighter. So I'm pretty much sure I can improve on that set. I've already improved it in the same way. Usually there is a difference in low speed and high speed dampers, but as you say, low speed dampers is for moving weight on braking and acceleration. Despite the initial shock might be fast, the process itself is considered slow. And you usually adjust the fast speed dampers or the high speed dampers for curbs and bumps. Those are just short-handed but very significant and strong shocks the suspension is given in a very short moment. Like a bump, you just go over it and then it's done. Same with the curb, which are because most of the curbs are bumped pretty bumpy, as you can see those rippled curves here on the apex of the final turn. So now let's see whether we can improve, adjust ourselves a little bit more to the new brake balance at the front, no locking up, not losing so much time this time. Turn 1, stable through 2, 3, that was a bit weird now. So the rear end just snapped out, felt a little bit like to me as the car was not ready to take the roll momentum of the rear suspension, which would point to the fact that the rear anti-roll bar or the rear suspension is too stiff. However, with that sudden loss, I maybe just threw it too hard around the corner. So right now I should probably start logging telemetry, so as soon as Robert comes back he has a chance to see what was going on in the car. Yeah, that's just good confirmation, Wolfgang, that you have experienced the very same on the Skippy there, just on your side. So as you can see, the optimal is already pointing to a 42.8. That means that the potential of the car is still not fully reached out of my driving and stuff. So we're gonna keep focusing a bit. Second lap tires should now be on temperature. There we go. Keep it safe to turn 3 now. Oop. Bit of a mistake there. Still, as you can see, going a bit quicker through sector 1. The bump is no issue this time. Better stay in second here of the exit. This wheel spin definitely killed the speed carried throughout the straight. Again, second gear probably would have been better. Car felt nice through 16 now, and 17 and 18. Going wide. Bang. Hey Ricardo. I would not consider myself being a challenger yet for Martin. That guy is seriously quick. But yeah, I would say we keep learning. Too far on the inside, little mistake there. Too late on the brakes. Too hard on the turn-in though. Anyway, we keep going. Just 1.5 tenths. And I'm pretty sure I can do it. 142.7 is the optimal now. Ah, dang. That turn 19, you know, just like in real Formula 1, turn 19 killed so many good laps. Ah, till here this was a solid run through sector 1. Just too quick through that turn 9. Turn 11 now. Take it second gear. A bit better, still 210. But you guys see, you know, the optimal drop to a 0.6 now. I'm just not used to the car completely, so I cannot really access it completely yet. It's just that initial momentum is there. I just need to exercise it. Not like that though, rip. Alright, I still felt that the rear end was a bit too twitchy. Front end could be a little more turning though. So I wanna... No, I don't wanna set the front flap differently. Looking at the camber, I think camber can be increased a bit. That should give rear instability a little more toe in. Gives rear instability. And the heave rate is the stiffness of the center spring, which adds the stiffness only in the heave, bump or jounce motion, but not in roll. So stiffer spring controls the chassis attitude. Less pitch change. This is good for the aerodynamics camber control, but mechanical grip is often better with softer springs. Yeah, that is what I felt. Oh, the heave rate, I think 75 is the maximum. That feels like being a bit too stiff. So I changed this to 55. So this is not like this reaction that is going to be different, but it's going to be the pitch. That means when accelerating, the car goes down in the back, dealing with all the power, and it's going to get up until 300 kph is reached, and as soon as you hit the brakes, the car goes up. This is now a bit more available to the car, which could be countersteered by those spring settings we just had. So this movement should give better traction, this movement should give a little bit more sloppy braking though, because the weight is now easier moving towards the front. So we will see though. I increased the low speed rebound to slow down the weight transfer. Yes, this actually is the case. The negative side of this is basically that the car loses momentum on the front turn-in. Because right now the weight is still a bit too much in the back, and the weight needs to be on the front axis to make the car turn. So yeah, literally, in theory, you would compromise your front end or your ability of the front end to turn in. However, on the Formula 1 car there is more aerodynamical grip, so this only really affects us into the slow corners like this one and turn 1, where you have to be at the right speed and a lot more precise than earlier on. But we're gonna see how this develops now. car still very slippery in the rear end. I think tire temperatures are not ready yet. Still gained a bit through sector 1 in the end on my gap for the very best time. Better exit out of turn 11. Thank you very much, George. Trying to do my best on that. Yeah, this is exactly what I meant. Now this was the effect of the weight still being located at the rear end. So too much weight in the rear end. As I said, or this pitch and roll. If the car goes up, the center of gravity goes up, which then changes the car balance a lot. And with all the weight totally at the front, there is no weight at the back to push the car down on the road. So I'm sorry, the initial explanation was wrong. That spin was mainly caused because of the pitch setting we now changed. Because it enables the rear end to simply go up. But the car's definitely faster overall, as you can see right now. Nice exit, gains us a little time over the straight. Just need to find a way to keep the rear down in the rear in this turn 16. As long as you brake in a straight, this is no issue whatsoever. But as soon as you start doing that trail braking, especially when changing directions, this is an issue. There you go. That widest corner is bad overall. I need to adapt myself a little to that. Yeah, and the sliding obviously costed everything else. I'm not too happy with that right now, so I need to go back to the pits and rework on that. This means I have to now even more stiffen the the slow rear rebound, and I have to even more stiffen the front slow bound, or the I will show you how that is called. LOSPF on the top right corner. LQSPF, that is all hardware related stuff. So F is the force feedback, Q and S and P I have no clue, but this is, has something to do with the wheel, and I think with the CPU usage. So we go on the car, we go on the dampers, we stiffen the rear end rebound dumping to keep more weight at the back, and we also stiffen the low speed compression dumping at the front to retain the weight when it comes forwards, so that the spring is not compressing too much. Furthermore, I think we could increase the usage of the rear diffuser. Wait, I need to see which changes the ride height. However, I think the ride height is pretty much on the lowest already. It could also be the torque. Thank you, Elite Beast. That is a little bit more right height to us in the rear, which should help us a bit literally everywhere now with rake and everything. So the car is a little bit more up in the rear end rather than in the front. This gives us a little bit more rake, and while we drive straight, a little bit more drag, but on the other hand it should give us more downforce into the corners. However, if the diffuser is now losing efficiency, that might settle off the rear end. Here's the diffuser, and this is the exactly opposite what happens to a plane. When a plane travels through the air on the upside of the wing has to take a longer way than the air on the downside of the wing, and this then creates a draft to the upwards because the air is a lot thinner above the wing, and that makes the air from below pushing the wing upwards. A diffuser works the other way around. In that moment, when you travel like this over the road, you limitate the airflow below the car, which therefore means there is a very low pressure underneath the car and high pressure above the car, which then results into a downforce effect, pulling the car to the ground. However, if doing that too steep, it's just you simply stall the diffuser. That means that the air is not able to produce those forces you need to have on the diffuser to make it work. So that is the reason why between rake and low right height needs to be the right position found. This is an off track. How unfortunate. That means I won't push it in that sector because that is invalid anyway. But I may try to find some more time on this lap on other sectors. See how turn 16 is. A lot better, as you can see. Turn 17 and 18. There's a little bit too much turning momentum on the car. Exit is fine though. So yeah, we're very close on fixing the stuff on the rear end there. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Off track. As you can see, the bump is totally fine around that little turn 10 kink now. So that is definitely solved by the suspension. All the other parts, we dropped a little more on the optimal time. So we will be able to attack it even further. Just need to get the lap together. Yeah, Broken Sticks, this is, may I just introduce the pit crew? So the pit crew helps out whenever Sean or me has an issue, whenever other guys have an issue we can't explain or we do not know. Then we have the very reliable pit crew in the background, and if you want to become a part of the pit crew, have chatting with Sean, have chatting with me, chatting with the pit crew and learn a lot of stuff, you want to become a Patreon. A link for the Patreon page is in the description of this stream. Once again, I just jinxed it. This first sector is so difficult to get it totally right. Still can make this a personal best though. Very true there, William, very true. Lovely turn 16. Oh, you got to be kidding. You damn curb. Well, that curb jinxed my lap there. But as you can see, I totally can do it. So I will keep carrying on with that current setup, because it will enable me to go deeper into the 42s. That stuff does not happen. And this might be a very short but sudden stall of the rear diffuser. That means I will even go a bit higher in the right height, and I will also... Where is the spring rate itself? That is the heave rate. Will that make that a bit softer again? The torsion bar itself I will make stiffer. Wait, not the heave rate. Readjust some things. What happened there? I think first need to apply stuff. Why is that working the opposite direction here? Now this deflate does not make any sense. I said, does not make any sense. This is very weird jumping of that. So this is actually the right position then. Let me just see. Alright, with that setting now, I've stiffened the rear end a bit, which means that the car won't roll too much from the left and right, which should not cut off the airflow underneath the bodywork, which then should not cut off the powerful diffuser. But this is just theory, it could be something else, so it definitely needs to be tested. But initially the car feels better by a mile. Wow, look at the time we suddenly gained on cold tires though. Bump is no issue whatsoever. Still cold brakes though. But you definitely see that the car has improved itself. So I do now think we have a lot more stable diffuser with a lot more constant airflow, which has given us definitely a lot more grip in the rear end and a lot more confidence into the car. This works very nicely. Looks a bit like I found a glitch in the car, and with saying glitch I mean the magic thing, the magic setting. So the rear end is now a lot stiffer basically, and that should help us a lot. Not if you miss your braking points then. So that enables me to explain further what I mean. Usually now the other car would have already spun out. I should not overdrive the car though. What happened on the other car is really that it snap oversteered. That means it was alright to the point where it was too much. And this happens a lot when your rear spring is too soft. Like, it feels good, it feels perfect, it gives you a lot of traction, it gives you a lot of traveling speed through the corners. But as soon as you go a bit too high, the spring is fully compressed and you hit the puckers, or you hit the end of the spring turns immediately from soft to super stiff, because there is no travel range left. And as soon as this happens, the rear goes. There's often not a lot you can do, because the use of the mechanical grip is maxed out at 100%. There is no more grip the mechanical grip or the mechanical suspension is able to deliver. But in that moment when you hit the end of the suspension, you demand more mechanical grip, and the rest of the grip is then being simply produced by the tires. And all you guys know that those tires in the rear end, or those tires on the car, are pretty bad covering with sideways movement. So that's it then. And then you simply spin and lose the rear. And now I want to get a good lap in. Have to be so precise. I think I damaged the car anyway because of hitting those anti-cut curbs. But I think you saw that the car has a lot more possibilities now. So what I'm gonna do is I set my new personal best on the high fuel, then I will unfuel the car, and then I will go hard on a qualifying run once or twice, and then I should get into the 139s as William just insisted. So sure of myself that I can do it, it's ridiculous. Alright. Come on, Michi. You can definitely do it. Mistake, carry on though. We made half of the mistake up to that point. Still point 13. Once again, it's the final turn. But you guys see there is a lot more traction, a lot more confidence. Optimal drop to a 142.4. Very good turn 11. Can't believe it, almost threw it away final turn. 142.8 though. Yeah, too much. You have to be very careful on the input though. Alright, a 42.8, I'm gonna take that. And just as this is A02 then, just as promised, what I'm doing now is taking over the fuel. I have to reset the spring then a little bit, which is totally alright. Yep. Hey Zach. Thanks for joining though. So this is alright. All we have to do now is go to the fixed engine deploy map 1, everything set on 1. That is applied. That means... Nope, I forgot something because the car is not allowed to go into deraid mode is set off anyway. So what I do now is take it easy on the out lap. Oh Paul, I would be very excited about this McLaren wheel as well. I just haven't ordered one yet. First I need to move rooms, then I need to move other things, and then I need to save a lot of money in order to get a proper wheel. So I'm gonna be very tempted to see whether the car balance and the entire car has changed in a way that it will allow me to go into the 39s or even into a 38. I know I can do a 38, totally know that. And I really want to make this a good session by really going quicker than a 40.1, which I did in the previous qualifying run, and I definitely want to go quicker than a low 39, but the minimum I really have to get is a mid 39. Alright guys, we set ourselves up, warm up the brakes, get the energy fully restored, and then we go hard. DRS wide open. Hard on the brakes, turn 1. Now, very urgent that middle corners there. Oh yeah, that was so obvious. I felt that coming literally when I hit that inside jump on turn 8. So with that spin, I have to cool down the tires, I have to recharge the battery. Black 7 RC, I think that McLaren wheelbase is made for the Fanatec wheelbase. Oh, I totally can do it. I totally can do it. I just know it. Yeah, but this car is not easy to drive at all. So massive hats off to all the IWCS racers. They are really mastering that car for over 1.5 hours. Maybe they have super duper stable setups though. Anyway, rear end is a bit unsettled. I think the spin has really costed a lot of rubber. Oh, here we go again. So DRS wide open, turn 1 approaching, hard on the brakes. And once again I hit that damn thing. And 1.5 seconds down, need more. This lockup was pretty bad. Half of the energy is gone. The DRS is wide open again. Turn 12. make it round, first attempt 139.5. You all saw those mistakes though, there is a 38 available. I trust you, I guarantee you that there is a 38 available to me. And I know that the world class guys do 136s, but they have huge setups. All I did now was just some little readjusting for the dampers for car stability in the rear. I'm pretty sure if I do not hit that anti-cut curb into turn 7, which is the upcoming corner now. Look, there is even in low speed driving half a tenth to find there. Then here I locked up badly. Lower speed is almost the same exit time, so yeah, there's a lot to find still. Oh, Antoine, thank you for noticing, but there's a serious question then. How do you all the time master those setups? How do you drive those cars around those quick corners without losing it in the back? I mean, this is interesting feedback, and I expected the opposite to be the case. I could understand that my setup is pretty much understeering right here, but at the very same time I feel like losing it. Alright, final try of the day. Too bad, turn 1 could have been a lot better. I see. Throttle control. Now I feel really retarded, to be totally honest. Don't do this, Michi. Don't do this. So Antoine, by throttle control, do you mean engaging and unengaging the MGU? Is that what you mean by throttle control? Because the only thing that I feel like having an issue with is the torque. That might be too hard when the electrical power system is applied to the drivetrain. Is that what you do? Or what you mean by throttle control? Because I mean, I can see on the dashboard, and as soon as I like press the gas 95% and more, the battery is being consumed. So by the way, for those who do not know, Antoine is one of the IWCS racers who constantly finishes in the top 10, I believe. So really one that is knowing about the stuff he talks. I'm just too bad. Too fast into the corners. That little slide. The Arresto. Come on, hit your marks there, Michi. Nah. Yeah, totally deserved. Anyway, it is an improvement by half a second for today. Hey, SG Gendu, thank you for joining here on the stream. So I definitely will keep it, and I see I will still have to work furthermore on the setup. So that is a bad footage to end this one. Pretty much want to have it like this, maybe. So while you see that car race a little bit further, I'm a bit happy though, despite like not being pitch perfect yet on the car. I've definitely done some improvement to it. That is what I feel, and this is pretty much the target I had today. Like Robert was saying, alright Michi, get on the car, get more laps in. So this is just another gained experience right now. And in the end I definitely want to have more to think about at night. You guys, I've already mentioned it, I will improve surely the next time I will be on the car on the very same set. It's just that my mind needs to rework and recap on everything what I did today. And learn a bit more, and then I'm pretty sure I can improve in this car. I'm not getting to a level where Antoine or Martin Kroenke is in the next few weeks, but in the next few months I might come close to them, which is the target definitely, or beat them at some point maybe. So we'll see where this journey goes. Right now I'm very happy in general, and I would like to thank you very much El Bujo, and thank you very much William, for donating a little thing to me. That means so much to me. You guys from the pit crew are just awesome. What you do to the sim pit, what you do to the show, what you do to Sean and to me, that is just overwhelming, and I really love being part of the group and love being part of your entertainment group. So I will try keep doing that. So again, William, thank you very much there. Also Michael Clark did some donation today. And if you want to find out more about me, want to see more of setup guided videos, I can tell you on my channel there are some more setup guides being done on my channel into first place, and secondly already being done. So there is a playlist with setup guides where you see a lot of various race cars being driven together with Robert, and that means there is a variety of setup guides being available to you. And with that, guys, I want to make this to an end. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned to this channel because there's more racing to come in 5 hours time. Then it's when it's the Sim Pit Battle of the Beamers. I think so. His sim racing system race #1 in the old DTM cars on Assetto Corsa. That will start 6 p.m. PST, 3 a.m. Central European time. I'm gonna be sleeping by then. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a nice afternoon or nice evening, no matter where you're sitting at the minute. And thank you so much for being here. This is Michi Hoyer. This is the Sim Pit, and we see you guys out on track.